Hey, KU fans, welcome back to another episode of KU Sports Extra here at KUsports.com. From Allen Fieldhouse, I'm Matt Tate. Benton from his, what are those stairs? Are you under the stairs somewhere?
Oh, I'm actually, it's like a shelving thing that I had just there was like a Christmas tree up there still, so I took it out of frame so that I wouldn't look like, we still have Christmas stuff up in our house a week into January.
Yeah, well, some of us might also. So they don't hear, though. KU wins at 63-59 over Oklahoma. A very tough, hard-fought, grinded-out type of game that really neither offense got going throughout the game. Ben, what jumped out at you about this one? We'll get to the ending here in a minute, but just overall, what jumped out about just this win that they really had to have, I thought. I mean, it wasn't a must-win because OU's top 10. It wasn't a must-win because, there's no season left, but it was a must-win because of the way they played last time they were in this building. So the fact that they were able to survive and didn't have to deal with 2 home losses in a row, they're going to have a much better weekend because of that.
Yeah, I mean, probably like a lot of people, once I saw Brady Manick wasn't playing, I was thinking this game would be a rout, because, this isn't a typical OU team. I feel like OU's been a lot stronger in recent years than it is this year. And, without Manick, I mean, I thought it was going to make it a lot easier for KU to handle whatever OU was doing offensively. But I don't know. I wonder if it's one of those like mental traps, right? When you hear that a key player is going to be out for the other team. And then I think it also works to OU's advantage too, where they just play loose,
Right, right.
Nothing to lose at all. And I thought Reeves really took advantage of that. And KU had issues with him all day, most of the time. So it ended up being a lot closer than I ever would have imagined. But, credit to KU's veterans down the stretch, especially for making it happen.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear the KU guys talk about Manick after the game because they basically said, hey, we didn't change our approach. I mean, it's not like they had 2 days worth of knowledge, or notice. They found out just before the game like a lot of us. And so I think it's smart to not change your approach, but I think you're right. Like human nature says, oh, this will be easy. And I don't think anybody probably thinks that in the Big 12 ever, but it just has to feel that way. He's their second leading scorer. He shoots 41% from three-point range, and you don't have to deal with that anymore. So there's a little natural just relaxation that comes with it, and I think that showed. I mean, for the second home game in a row, KU starts out pretty sluggish. They're down 9-2. Self calls a timeout. I'm sure every KU fan would love to be in that timeout, and no KU players want to be there. I mean, it'd be fun to hear what he's saying. But I think after that, they did turn it on midway through the first half. They kind of found their footing. It all started with defense. I thought they got stops, and that led to easier, more flowing, efficient type of offense. And that was really what they needed to kind of calm the waters, so to speak.
Yeah, and they had another in the second half. I mean, the offense just stalled out for a while there. I mean, how long did that stretch end up being between field goals? I think it looked like KU was about to run away when Ochai hit a couple threes in a row, and I think Lightfoot might have scored inside. But then after that, it was just like nothing for KU offensively for a long stretch. But I mean, I thought, Jalen Wilson really picked it up. He had 6 turnovers in the first half, which was so uncharacteristic, but he ended up doing a really good job on the glass coming out in the second half. And I think that kind of set him up for success. And obviously he hit some big time shots in crunch time before McCormick hit probably the most important shot of the game.
Yeah. I mean, 11 rebounds for Jalen Wilson on a day he plays pretty poorly. And he basically had to go get those 11 rebounds because when you give it away 7 times, you got to do something to get it back. And otherwise you're either going to sit or you're going to hear about it for the rest of your life probably. So I thought that was good, man. He was aggressive on the glass. As you mentioned, Christian Brown was aggressive on the glass. Ochai, even Marcus Garrett coming back off that concussion or head injury or whatever it was. I mean, those guys all got on the glass, which was big because the big guys didn't. McCormick and Lightfoot 1 rebound combined.
That was the craziest stat of the day by far. I mean, just as much as those guys were in there, McCormick plays 25 minutes, Lightfoot plays 15 minutes, and they have 1 rebound between them. Give McCormick the victory for the 1 rebound.
Well, and like you said, as much as they were in there, but guess where they were when they were in there? By the basket,
Right.
right? I mean, like, it just doesn't add up. But it's one of those where since KU found a way to win this game, it's a little less problematic. If they had lost this game, you can only imagine. And Self mentioned it. Don't get me wrong, he
Oh
did
yeah.
mention it. But you can imagine how much he would hear. These guys would hear about it if that was a losing effort and you only got one rebound out of your big guys. But I agree with you. I thought McCormick was really good down the stretch. I mean, what was impressive to me was that they kept going to him. Everybody knows he hasn't had the best year. Everybody knows he's still uncertain when he gets the ball. You don't know. I mean, 5-6 minutes left in the game, he airballed a hook shot from the baseline when they went through him. And then he responded by hitting two with the game on the line a couple minutes later. So he continues to talk about his free mind and just playing loose. And I think that's good for him to emphasize that because he's got to keep going there. And that's where they need him to be. When he's tight, his play is severely affected. And here in the last couple of games, he's been looser. He said that, and his numbers have been much better. It's not always the prettiest thing you're going to watch. You're not going to always love, rewind like you're watching some poetry in motion or anything. But for Kansas, that doesn't matter as long as he can be effective and be a presence. So any final thoughts on this one? Again, 63-59, tough win against a team that's way better than their record. I think OU can play, and they did this without Manic, as we mentioned. So that's a good basketball team, but Kansas had to have that one. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back to how McCormick is playing offensively, and I think you're completely right. It's all about just him feeling more comfortable than he's ever felt, and that's why he's had such a good week. Like that airball jump hook that you mentioned. I mean, in the past, he probably would have gotten his own head about that, and instead he just forgot about it, and he
Right.
kept playing like he's capable of. So. Yeah, I mean that's such a huge sign for this KU team that he is much more productive inside than he's been throughout this year. I mean, it seems like he has turned a corner now. Can he keep this up against more athletic bigs and teams that are better, kind of defending around the rim? That's what we're going to find out in the weeks ahead. But I mean, it seems like a real big positive. Now all he has to do is go get some rebounds
Yeah.
to go with his points.
Yeah, well said. I think you're exactly right. That is the next step. It's one thing to do it against teams OU doesn't have a ton of big guys and Washburn didn't have a ton of big guys. I mean, it's one thing to do it against those types of teams, but he's got to take that next step now. And if he does, Kansas will be in good shape. I mean, because all these guys around him. I thought it was interesting. I mean, so they talked a lot in the post game today about just sort of the overall where they're at type of big picture approach. And I mean, I think it was McCormick who said, Coach tells us all the time the real teams grow as the season goes on. And he said that's what we're doing. And that's clearly what he's doing. So as long as they all buy into that, it can be a thing and it can be real and it can be productive. That's what it is for this team. I think they've just got to continue to grow, continue to get on the same page, play together. When they do, they're tough to beat, as OU found out today. He's Benton Smith. I'm Matt Tate at Allen Fieldhouse, and under a wiry Christmas shelving that looks like stairs. That's KU Sports Extra, the first one of the 2021 season. It's been a weird season, obviously, but we're happy to have this back. It took us a little while to kind of figure out how we could do this, but hopefully they'll be back every game from here on out, and we'll keep bringing you all this coverage at KUsports.com. So for Benton Smith, I'm Matt Tate. Thanks for checking out KU Sports Extra. KU wins at 63-59 and improves to 10-2 overall and 4-1 in conference play. You got to take that. We'll talk to you guys again next time.